I was on a bus in Nagoya, and when it pulled into the stop, something interesting happened. Nobody moved. Nobody grabbed their bag early. Nobody stood up before the doors opened. Everyone just waited. And I realized I was gripping my bag halfway out of my seat, ready to go, before the bus had even stopped. I'm Korean and apparently I can't help it. People often assume Japan and Korea are basically the same country. And I get it. From the outside, we look similar. We share the same time zone, and our languages even share a lot of vocabulary. But spending time in Japan made the differences impossible to ignore. The internet in Japan is slow, the drivers are slow, the pace of everything, slow. And at first, honestly, it was kind of annoying. In Korea, there is a concept called palipali. It literally means quickly, quickly. And it's not just a saying, it's a national personality, I would say. Korea built itself from one of the poorest countries in the world into one of the largest economies in just a few decades. The 80s and 90s were a period of insane, almost violent growth. So we had to hustle. We had to adapt. Speed wasn't a preference. It was survival. And that urgency never really went away. The internet in Korea is the fastest in the world. Delivery arrives within hours. Food shows up in 20 minutes. There's a saying, if you see someone stand up the moment a plane lands, before it's even reached the gate, that person is most probably Korean. But sitting on that bus in Nagoya, not rushing, not gripping anything, just sitting, I felt something I didn't expect. Relief. Like I'd been holding my breath for years and finally exhaled. And it made me think about how I actually live my life. I'm a physiotherapist, and when I'm with a patient, I should be fully present, focused on what's in front of me in that room, in that moment. But my mind is already somewhere else, already thinking about the next patient, already planning what needs to happen after that. Like running through my schedule, optimizing, preparing. And it's not just work, it's everything. Even when I'm doing something I enjoy, like cooking, walking, just sitting somewhere, there's always this background noise in my head. A constant forward motion, like I'm never actually where I am. Like I exist in the future more than the present. And the strange thing is, I used to think that was a good thing. Being efficient, being prepared, always one step ahead. But at some point I realized it wasn't productivity. It was just anxiety with a better reputation. It was palipali living inside me. And I hadn't even noticed. Korea has some of the highest burnout rates in the world, one of the lowest birth rates. People work some of the longest hours of any developed country. And I don't think that's a coincidence. When your whole culture is built on speed, rest starts to feel like failure. Taking your time starts to feel like laziness. And that voice, the one that says you're wasting time, keep moving. What are you doing just sitting there? that voice becomes so familiar, you stop hearing it as external. You just think that's who you are. Lately, I've been trying something. When I notice my mind racing forward, when I catch myself planning the next thing before I finish the current one, I just stop and I tell myself, it's okay to be here. It's okay to slow down. Right now, in this moment, let's just be here. It sounds almost embarrassingly simple, but for someone who grew up in palipali culture, slowing down isn't natural. It's a practice. Something you have to choose over and over against everything you were taught. And when I actually do it, when I manage to stay present, even for a few minutes, the relief is immediate. The experience actually lands, and I can feel where I am. That bus in Nagoya gave me that, just by doing nothing differently, just by being a place where nobody was in a hurry. I'm not saying Korea's way is wrong. That speed built something genuinely remarkable, and I'm proud of that. But I think there's a cost that we don't talk about enough, not just nationally, personally. You know, the moments you rush through don't come back. The meal you ate while thinking about your next meeting, the conversation you had while planning your reply. And I think I've lost a lot of moments that way. And I'm trying to lose fewer. And maybe that starts with something as small as staying in your seat until the bus actually stops.